Now on the stage, we have Baylor head coach Dave Aranda. Again, we'll start with an opening statement and then we'll go to questions. Coach?
So humbled to be here with you guys. Way appreciative. I know Mac Rhodes is somewhere here, and Javon Overshone from our athletic department. So appreciative of their support. But it's always good to be with you guys. You know, I wanted to start this with really hard lessons from last year. I have to imagine for those of you so inclined, you know, what happened last year. And, you know, it's one of the beautiful things about our sport is that the personal comes out in the professional. And, you know, the faults of just me can you know, that it can happen there too, right? Not only the positive things, but the negative things. And I look at, you know, the last year trying to save people, maybe trying to change people, and not having hard enough boundaries. And, you know, I look at I don't know if it was a hubris or what it was that made me think that I could, but I think people are ready to change or improve when they're ready to. When they're ready to do it on their own. So I think that was a big factor last year, and I think the other was, you know, not using the transfer portal and not embracing it. I think, you know, one of the struggles for me has always been if you say yes to something, a player outside of your team that's in the portal, you're saying no to a player on your team, you know, that maybe is struggling from an injury, that's maybe trying to get, you know, his schoolwork in order, that's maybe trying to hone the techniques of this new position that he's playing, or maybe he's trying to gain weight or any of those things. I think that when you bring somebody in, you almost really kind of stunt the growth of that person. And I think for me to kind of come to grips with, hey, this is what needs to happen for the betterment of the team, as opposed to just looking at what's best for that one particular player on your team. And I think we all like to think that, you know, there's going to be just a trajectory of taking off like a rocket ship. But I think we all know that there's the bumps and the pits and the downward arcing in any type of career or a young person's career. And so to say that, hey, we still got you, we still believe in you, but this is what we need to do for the team right now has been an area of growth for me. You know, to take it to this year, you know, to start the year, really started with person over player, and really focusing in on that and talking a lot about that with our team. And, you know, and starting that with like, hey, we're talking about the whole thing, you know, your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul, is to get that into an alignment and to get that to where, you know yourself, you can be yourself, you can express yourself, and when it comes time to, you can check yourself. You know, I think to see that our young people today aren't just a cog in a machine, right, to get wins and take home revenue, but are human beings fully formed by God, right? And when we say know yourself, know that, as Paul would say, hidden in Christ with God, and that you can express yourself. So like the sport can be that for you. You can express who you are, and much like an artist does, is have a signature that's all your own. You know, the check yourself part comes, I think, is a huge part of person over player to me, because, you know, that you're growing, your self-awareness is improving, right? It's not, the self-awareness for us is not so much whether something's right or wrong, but is this helpful or is this not? You know, yesterday I felt kind of begrudgingly for this with this person, and I don't want to feel, I know what that feels like now. I don't want to feel like that anymore. So the next time I'm in that situation, I'm going to do this differently, or I'm going to be better with it. And then you work at it, and then you're growing and getting better. And so I just think that these things are way important things, and we spend time with it. excited with our new coaches and new staff members coming on board. I think they've brought great energy and great connection to our young people, and just really feel a one team, one vision, and I feel that connectedness. We've brought in a fair amount of new players, and the new players have been great fits on the field and off the field, and am excited to be able to see them express themselves and go on just this journey of self-discovery through the season, man, and really show up when it matters most. I know that's why they came here. Excited for the 8 home games and excited for our schedule, way appreciative of it, and I'm looking forward to playing our best ball when we're at home. McLean Stadium is very special when, a team has earned the right for folks to come in and watch, and we're totally aiming to do that. And so with that, wanted to open it up with questions for you all.
All right, we'll go to center right, 4th row.
Bryce Cherry, Waco Trib. Dave, good to see you. First of all, I just really wanted to say, maybe on behalf of the media, offer my condolences on the passing of your father. Sorry that happened. Sorry to bring it up. I wondered if you would just reflect on maybe his influence on you as a man and a coach.
No, I appreciate that. I went and saw my dad when I first heard that he had cancer. And my dad and I it's always been a great relationship. I was never really someone that would say openly, I love you. And I always knew that he did, though. And so I remember when he called me and told me that he had pancreatic cancer and it was stage 4, I told him that I loved him. And he didn't say it back. I don't know if he heard me and so I wanted to go and say it to him face to face. And so I was able to do that. And he gave me a big hug, and I don't know, when you're hugging and everything, you feel like, hey, this is a good hug, and he wouldn't let me go, and he kept really strong. And he told me that he loved me, and I'm so glad that we had that moment, because I know a lot of folks don't have that. And we're going to have a celebration of his life coming up on this Sunday, and there's going to be just so many people that are going to be there that my dad touched, and family members that didn't know they were a part of the family, relatives that needed help and my dad was there for, and just all these things, and just way proud, to be his son. So I appreciate that.
Go to center right.
Dave, Joe Goodman from the Bear Den and Our Daily Bears. In the 3 seasons that you've been a head coach, you've had wildly different circumstances and results, different coaching staffs. What would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself compared to year 1 now going into year 4?
Appreciate that question. There's a lot that I've learned. I think the best way I can answer your question is that every piece of you, every part of you, has to know why you're doing this. Like, what's the reason behind this? What's the? I think we all can see what the short-term goals are, but what's really the long-term goal? What's the legacy you want to leave? What's the reason? Why are you doing this? I think if those things aren't worked out, then your heart can be a mercenary heart, like C.S. Lewis has talked about, and you just go to the highest bidder and whatever it takes, And so I think to really know like who you are, and that takes a lot of work because there's plenty of hiding spots, and so to really know who you are and to be able to express you, is way cool, man. We're trying to get a lot of our team to do that, and I think it's, of all the things that we're doing, I'm most excited about that. And so I appreciate the question.
We'll stay center right in the back.
Dave, Parker Ream, Fox 44, right over here in the center.
Okay.
Back here. Yep. You mentioned the growth kind of as an individual, but not only as an individual with the team this year, especially with the new coaches and stuff like that. You come into this season a little bit different expectations than last year. How do you approach that with the new culture you guys are kind of trying to establish, getting back to that mountaintop?
Appreciate the question. I think, I look at like today as a great example for that. Our guys are lifting today. Now that we've got 5 guys that are here with us today that aren't lifting. And so I think of the guys that are lifting today, and what it needs to be is like, hey, here's a day for us to get better. Hey, this was Monday. This is the last time we lifted. This is what it was. We're going to get better today. All right, it doesn't matter who's not here or who is here. We're going to attack this, and we're not looking for, hey, the last week of July is going to be we got a couple days there to kind of relax before the season. We're not looking at that. We're looking at like today, the 8 o'clock workout, the 10 o'clock workout. And I think like those things, for an individual player to look at that as, there can be a level of mastery, man, that I can have, and it takes me being fully present. Those are the things that are going to carry over to the season when there's adversity, when the game didn't start the way we wanted, when the halftime score isn't what we want. I think those things don't come on a wish and a prayer in those moments. I think those things are developed and those things are grown. And I'm proud of our group for working on those things. And so I think for us to continue to try to win the day will help us when those storms come.
We'll go to far left in the middle.
Joe Cook with Inside Texas. Baylor and Texas have been in the same conference for over a century. Baylor is the only school who've been in both the Southwest Conference and the Big 12 who gets to host Texas this year. You talked about how important winning at McLean is. Do you expect to have a different environment when the Longhorns may make their last trip ever to Waco?
Appreciate the question. Have a great respect for Texas football, for their history, and for Coach Sark and what he's building and how he's recruiting and their style of play. They're right on the forefront offensively and defensively of being creative and innovative. And a lot of their players I know about and am expecting a battle. And, a lot of it is we need to bring that battle to them. And so, I think anything less with Baylor, Texas, is not enough. And so, and anticipating a great game there and appreciative of the opportunity.
We'll go to the far right, back row.
Hi, Dave. Alex Walker with Channel 9 in Orlando. You touched on your schedule. I want to get your thoughts on UCF joining the conference and your road trip to Central Florida in September. I know you had a little experience with UCF when you were at LSU in that Fiesta Bowl.
No, appreciate the question. Yeah, a lot of respect for UCF and just the talent on the team, the way that they play. Defensively, I know there's a fire and a great temperament, and then offensively there's explosiveness and everything there. I've got so much respect for Coach Malzahn. Just the person that he is, and the thinker in football that he is, and so have gone up against him a bunch and know how formidable he is, and he just makes for us just a tough league even tougher and better. And so I think for us to go there and for it to be, I want to say it's their first Big 12 game. I just think it's going to be a tough environment. It's going to take everything with us, and we're aiming to bring everything.
We'll go to center, third row.
Sean J. Rogers, CBS Sports. How you doing, Coach?
Good.
So obviously you made a defensive coordinator change this offseason. So first of all, what kind of made you want to bring Coach Ballage back onto your staff? And the other part of it too is what priority was it to also get somebody with a secondary background with some of the issues you guys had there last year?
No, appreciate that. Yeah, Coach Powledge is a coach that players can relate to. Is a coach that can be real in the in-between moments. You know, I think so much can be learned when if you're watching an interaction between a coach and players. It's not so much during the time a coach is talking to the players. It would be the coach talking to a player and the coach walks off. Now, if you keep your vision on those players, like what is their reaction, right? Is it kind of a shoulder thing, or is it kind of a rolling of the eyes, or is it a joke afterwards, or what is it, you know? And so I just think, there's just so many. I think today's a great example of just all the pub and everything. There's all these opportunities for people to put on whatever kind of face they want to put on, and whatever role, if they chose to play whatever role, to play. But to find people that are real and authentic and comfortable with who they are, don't have to be anybody else. I mean, I know players see that. I know it, and I know that they connect with that. And I think Powledge has that, and so impressed by him. And then, the football stuff I think is way strong. I mean, he's coming from, the Utah State, Wisconsin, LSU, the Alabama, the Georgia, the Oregon. There's two really good schools of thought. It's a lot of similarities, some differences, and so way cool kind of menu to kind of choose from. And so I just think that, he's a special one. As far as the secondary goes, I think the ability to get someone that can really kind of, see the whole field, see it from the back to the front, relate to all of our people, were way strong requirements for it. And, he hits it out the park on all those. Yeah, thank you.
We'll have time for one final question. We'll go to the far left, middle.
Hi, Coach. John
Hey.
Sartori from NBC6 in Shreveport. I was just wondering what steps you see Blake Shapen making this season and how important his success is for the success of your team in 2023.
No, I appreciate that. Very proud of Blake. I feel like I've felt some of the same things. I have to imagine a lot of you guys have you step into an opportunity and it's clicking and you're rolling, and it's not a thought of, man, it's this easy, but it's like, hey, this is pretty good. And then to go upon hard times and to see maybe that there's blind spots the whole time that you didn't even know, and then to address those things and to come out stronger because of it. That's such a cool story. And to come out of it with like a pure heart, not like, I'm going to prove to you, or I'm going to show you, or, this to you or whatever. To not chase approval, but to really work for improvement. Just way cool. And so big fan of his. The team sees that. The guys see that. And they want to work hard for him. And, his growth off the field as a leader and just in terms of just doing all the things has been really good to see. And so I'm expecting big things. I know he is too. There's been a lot of work into it. And I think when you're in a pit, to climb your way out the pit and come out stronger because of it, I think is one of the beautiful things in our sport. And so I want to see him rewarded for that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.